Good evening, Nick Inman from VolumeProfileTrader.com on Monday, June 18th, and the S&P, after a gap open higher last night on what was perceived as good news coming out of Greece, the market pretty much retraced all of Friday's move and then rallied back up above Friday's close and finishing negative for the day, or I should say negative relative to where it opened, but positive for the day. The dollar bouncing off important support, the point of control from last month. This is how powerful these tools are, or these levels. Into the point of control for last month. Let's see, the low was 81.43 and the point of control was 81.42. Actually a little higher than that. And what did we get? We got a huge bounce off of these levels. Now we're back at this high volume area here. So that just shows you the power of it. Euro, you got a bounce off of these this point of control. So we'll see how long-lived it is. Considering we made new highs and then made a new swing low, in my opinion, that warrants caution for the euro. But we'll have to wait and see if it rallied. Basically what I'm saying is, into this rally this morning, that was your opportunity to take profits on any on any gains you really had in the euro to the long side. But overall, I do think that the trend remains down. We just happen to hit point of control for the month of May also and rejected off that level. Now we're at the point of control here, so we'll see which proves to be stronger. But I would be careful being long euros. Gold continues to bounce above here. Any more trouble, and I may be tempted to actually short some gold via GLD just for a trade. Not saying I'm going to go out and do it, but just if it stays up here any longer and can't push above this value area high, I would look to do something like that. Copper, everything pretty much pulled back from the gap open last night. Copper did the same, pulled back, and now we're seeing a higher low. We'll see if it can get going. One thing that I did do, which actually isn't working out well, is short Freeport off of this 10 o'clock bar. My stop is actually just above this bar right here. So if I get clipped, I get clipped. But overall, I'm net long. I just needed some type of exposure, or I should say some type of hedge to the downside, because names like Apple, broke out today. Look at this. I mean, this is picture perfect setup. What you're looking for here, and you get your breakout to the upside. You have a little bit of resistance here at 588. That is, that is the, let me zoom out so you can see it, the value area high for last month. So we'll see if this proves to be a little bit of resistance. If it is, tomorrow we can always take some profits. But really, this was an instant winner. Should have gone to fill really $10 or so lower, depending on when you saw my email. But this is a name actually off of this 11 o'clock bar, or maybe this 13 o'clock bar, sold short. Actually, I sold a call spread that expired last week, and it's funny how things can change going long in the next week. But that's just the way it is. Halliburton, glad I took some profits, or recommended taking profits. Last Friday, around this 29. Should have gotten to fill around 29 if you sold when I did. You had one opportunity to sell up to 29.53. That was your one opportunity. Today really got crushed. And I would, I think the trade is over, and it's just my opinion to move on to something else. Monsanto, I remember recommending this either in the mid-70s here, or when it broke out, saying wait for some type of pullback. Well, you never got that pullback, but this is just something maybe to keep an eye on. Maybe you want to get involved if we get a pullback to, say, mid 77s. Maybe we get an opportunity, but just pointing it out. Facebook, just to show a point of control from the opening month. Oh, what a surprise! Where price has stopped. You not saying that you want to do this, but taking a put position, something like that on Facebook. At least you have defined risk, and you never know, it could push back down towards 28 or so. But look at what we've seen. We've just seen, let's see, 2, 4, 6, and we have 16 up bars and 6 down bars since this candle, the last candle on Thursday. So that's pretty impressive. It warrants short-term overbought, sure, but at the same time it could keep going. Just saying that you could be at an opportunistic time to basically get the long stuck and shove it back down. So just something to keep in mind. JP Morgan, this was a name I was actually looking to short, and the reason why was because of the gap open. I was looking for a weak sector, and actually financials weren't that weak, but I wanted to take advantage of some type of reversion on JP Morgan. This was, so to speak, the entry bar around 11, and I didn't take it, but just pointing that out. Goldman, on the other hand, this was a name that I remember getting short at this bar. Got the gap open against me, but because of how this candle ended, I let it ride and ended up taking a small profit on that trade. But it appears that maybe, let's see if this trend line connects. Sure, looks like it does. Why not, right? Maybe we have a little triangle forming. Watch for a potential break up or breakout, or breakdown. If we get a breakout to the upside, really your only target is up here towards 97, which are these recent swing highs, point of control for the prior month. But a breakout to the downside on any type of significant volume could warrant you going short Goldman, something like that. But the only thing is, you do have, if I zoom in a little bit, for the last month you do have point of control here, which is fine because we've been moving sideways for the majority of this month, or for the last 30 days, so something to be aware of. Really, I'm looking at the rest of my names. I can't see anything else that really need to take action on. A potential opportunity, maybe Amazon. I'm looking at this huge high volume area here, and here comes price right into it. We'll see how price reacts to it. But if we get some type of pullback back down to the 217 level, we may get a cheap shot to the upside there. Looks like there was a great entry at this 15 o'clock bar. Look at the huge volume. Right off the intra-month value area low. What a monster that was, and it continues to climb. No real reason to sell at all. Maybe this last bar today, but at the same time, you could just let it continue going, see if you touch another $3 higher or so. But anyway, that's really all I have to say. Watch out for Fed Reserve meeting this week, tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm sure the market will be waiting on that. Maybe give you an opportunity or two. Just to show you what's going on, we have basically 0, 1, 4. I'm going to zoom in a little more so you can see it. Alright, I see a potential top here, and if we start trading back in the mid-30s, I'd like to see it close these ones and potentially close down to the one from the 15th, Friday. And then, if this gets going, potentially, of course, to the downside, you're looking at other levels down below, which consist of, I'd look at this point of control down on at 1750 or so, that 18 to 16 that general level should be some type of potential support, basically a downside target, and then the ones down here, and so on and so forth. But there is, I do see a potential for a top, and one of the reasons why is because of this, what looks like a bearish wedge forming, and the apex really, it could be as this high that we saw overnight, and you could psychologically speaking see why that could be a potential high. Plus, it's the value area high for last month. That level was support. Now it should be resistance on some longer term chart. So you could see a potential rollover here. The only argument I have is looking on a daily chart. We are pressing off of this point of control level, this high volume area, which usually represents some type of bottom being put in. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a push up towards this high volume here around 1365. We'll just have to wait and see. But usually moves don't end this soon. Now it could be a case of, I'm going to zoom back in so we can see. I'm going to connect these lines again. It could be a case, this is just, a fake pattern. I think you understand what I'm saying. Doesn't come to fruition, doesn't really mean anything. It just was a potential pattern. And, you'd just be seeing a rollover from these levels, but at the same time, you could see a breakdown, let's say, to the point of control, and then a blast off. You could see something like that. It's just really a tough market day by day. We got, I think, a few good opportunities in this move to the upside. Now, I take a look at something like Freeport, which could be, back at these swing highs, could be at a potential spot where you could look to be a seller, but, at the same time, price action right now is still pretty strong. If we finished weak today, I'd be a little more convinced that this would be a potential top, but right now we're not seeing that. So, anyways, stick with what's working. If you took the Freeport trade and you get stopped out, who really cares? Hopefully you caught the Apple one too. The idea of the Freeport was to hedge against your net long portfolio and look for potential higher prices and appreciating portfolio full of, a portfolio that's more long than short. And don't be afraid. Well, when the opportunities present themselves, don't be afraid to take your shots, especially if they're qualified through what we teach at Volume Profile Trader. So take care, have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.